Games Workshop is back with Christmas box sets once again. We've got 7 for Warhammer 40,000 and 4 for Age of Sigmar. So today let's take a look at the Warhammer 40,000 box sets. First up you have the Blissbound Warband. I think this looks really cool. Probably not very competitive, but in terms of sit on your shelf once you've painted it to look amazing, it is going to blow other armies away in terms of presentation and what you could do with it. You've got Fulgrim, a ginormous demon Primarch, 6 flawless blades and 6 noise marines as well. I really like this kind of army composition where you've got one big model and then a bunch of troop style models beside it. I don't know whether the noise marines or the flawless blades count as troops, but they're infantry, so for me that's close enough. All the Emperor's Children models are absolutely beautiful to look at, and it's nice to have a combination of close range attack with the flawless blades and a more distanced attack from the noise marines, and then Fulgrim is just going to dart around the battlefield killing absolutely everything. If I was going to be picking up one of these box sets, this would probably be quite high on my list. This is followed by the Carthonian Prospect. This to me is the opposite of what the Emperor's Children box set is. This is very heavy on the troops, very light on the vehicles, and it doesn't do anything for me, unfortunately. I'm not a huge fan of the Votann. I like the big guys that are up the back. I don't know all the names of the units and who is who, but the big guys up the back, the kind of more Space Marine type models really appeal to me, but the other stuff doesn't, and the vehicles especially are something that I've never liked. The big land fortress that they have is a bit toy-like, as are a lot of their other models that they have for their vehicles. The skimmer though that they seem to have in this box set, that's quite cool. The skimmers and the bikes aren't too bad, but for me the Votann just don't really do it. I'm sure if you're a Votann fan, this is probably quite a nice little collection of models, but for me this doesn't hit the spot. But we jump straight back into it with the Crusher Stampede for the Tyranids. You can't get a box set that is packed full of more big powerful models than this. If you're wanting to play monster nids, this is the box for you. This is also, in my opinion, one of the more versatile boxes because you can buy it if you just want a collection of big nids. Also, you could buy this and then just add some squads of the smaller ones like Termagants and Hormagaunts and Gargoyles and all the other little gribbly nids that you have, and you would have a pretty good looking army. The Farsight Cadre. It's one of those words that you never really know quite how to pronounce it just right. But anyway, this is a group of the Tau mech suits. We've got quite a few in here considering the price ranges that these box sets will probably be at, and there's a massive one there as well. I'm not 100% sure about including a character, a little bit like the Fulgrim one actually for the Emperor's Children when I think about it a bit more. I don't know if it's a good idea to have named characters in these box sets, because if you already have that character then you're not going to want to buy the box set and get a second copy of that character. If they kept them to generic commanders or lieutenants or some form of leader or groups of leaders, it'd make the boxes much more versatile. But overall, I do like this box set. It's not for me personally. I do find the Tau aesthetic quite interesting, but for me this just hasn't quite hit it, and I can't really describe what it is that has made it quite sit right with me. But it's not quite what I would have expected, and I don't know, to be honest. It's just not what's appealing to me. But hopefully some Tau players will be able to tell me if this is good or not. It wouldn't be a Christmas box set release without a Space Marine version. This box set is quite interesting. So you've got 2 big dreadnoughts and a bunch of Space Marines that have got heavy plasma weapons, but you also have a whole bunch of special characters and high-ranking officers, which surprises me. I thought they would have gone with more of the 2 dreadnoughts and more intercessors or heavy intercessors rather than the mix that they've gone with. It looks pretty cool, but I don't know if this is a combination that would work well. Do I want a contingent of company heroes and the Sternguard veterans in this box set? I don't know. I feel that more generalized troops armed with more heavy weapons would go pretty cool with the theme, but it is a good looking set and it does have a lot of versatile units that you could use if you were already a Space Marine player or if you were going to be starting an army. As per usual, if I was ranking these box sets, Space Marines would come straight down the middle, as perhaps they should do. Where you have Space Marines, you have Chaos Space Marines. The Hellforged Warband. This, I think, is a very cool way to have box set for the Chaos Space Marines. It's heavy hitting. It's got very interesting models. Some of them being newer, some of them being older. You've got the classic Rhino in there, the classic Space Marine Legionnaires, Havocs for heavy support, Obliterators, and 2 Dark Mechanicus Evil Machines. I think this is a great box set. This is much better than the Space Marine one, just because it's gone with that kind of heavy weapon, lots of firepower kind of motif like the Space Marine one has. It's just done it a bit more focused, a bit better. Last up is the Krieg Siege Platoon. Krieg are always an interesting Imperial Guard faction to me. Anyway, I've read several of the Black Library books that they've done. Very interesting concept, and it's great they're now in plastic as well, rather than just being a Forge World army. And this box set comes with a couple of their big guns and a whole bunch of infantry, much better than their combat patrol, which has far too many of the horseback riding members of the Krieg force. To me, this is what a Krieg and an Imperial Guard army should be. It's disposable infantry backed up by big heavy weapons. When sticking with the Krieg theme, this is a 10 out of 10, absolutely. So what do I think of the Warhammer 40,000 Christmas box sets? I think they're good. Some are better than others. I love that they've tried to lean a bit more into the larger models and having a lower model count in the box. If I was to pick my favourites, it's definitely a game of two halves. On the winning side is definitely the Blissbound Warband. I just love the composition of it and the way it looks rather than the way it plays. The way it looks is just amazing. The Crusher Stampede for the Tyranids I think really hits the big monster mark. It's a great little box set full of only 5 models, but they're 5 great models and they're big, they're chunky, will be great to paint and to start to a force. So you can't complain about that. The Chaos Space Marines, they have come in again, so their second box technically on the list, but the Hellforged Warband I think is just a fantastic representation of a force that is kind of focused but looks good, and it has a classic element in there still of the Legionnaires in a Rhino. And I think it's just a great set. And the Krieg Siege Platoon as well, although not something I'd be interested in, I love that it is what I think of for an Imperial Guard force, and for the Krieg especially. The massive guns, the loads of infantry, and it looks great together. The disappointing ones for me are definitely the Space Marines. They're very middle of the ground, I suppose. The Tau box set, I'm just not sure. The named character in there doesn't work as well as having Fulgrim in his dedicated box, and there's just something that doesn't appeal to me. There's something not quite right with it, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but that's a little bit of a letdown. And then lastly, for me at the bottom, unfortunately, is the Votan box for the Chthonian Prospect. The models just don't appeal to me, and actually I think that's a fantastic thing, because if we all like the same models, then what would be the point of having multiple ranges? And then we'd all be the same and everything would look boring. I'm sure for fans of the Votan, this is an amazing box, but for me it's definitely the bottom of the list. But let me know your order down in the comments. I'd love to know who you put as the best box, what you put as the worst. What do you think comes in the middle? Do you agree with me? Space Marines have done what they do best, have come down the middle of the pack. And are you a Tau or a Votan player who thinks that these boxes are best boxes that have ever been? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.